I call the honourable member Jonathan Young.
Well, the previous Labor government have a significant convention centre under their belt. Helen Clark speaks from the past. She said the Auckland Sky City has pumped $140 million into a new convention centre, and Auckland City has rebranded and upgraded its convention facilities. She says it's a good thing. Mark Burton, who was the Minister of Internal Affairs at the time, he said the potential gains from this are widespread, not only for Sky City, but for the Auckland City and region and the tourism industry and the whole of New Zealand. Oh my, haven't they changed their tune? The Labor Mayor of Auckland, Len Brown, agrees too. He welcomed the significant opportunities that a national convention centre will bring to Auckland, both in terms of jobs and wider economic growth. We understand, Mr Speaker, very, very clearly that there are issues around gambling harm and harm minimisation. That is why we have placed upon Sky City a very, very strong obligation and requirement to introduce further substantial harm reduction measures. In fact, Mr Speaker, the Associate Professor of Paul DeFabro from Adelaide University, who works in their psychology department, he's recently described Sky City's host responsibility program as one of the most rigorous in the world. And, Mr Speaker, it's important to understand that these things are also mindful in the government's mind, and because of that, there are very stringent obligations placed upon Sky City in order to minimise gambling harm. Under the agreement, Sky City will have to introduce a predictive modelling tool that analyses data to identify players at risk of problem gambling, as well as a voluntary pre-commitment system where players can elect to restrict the amount of time they play or the amount they spend. Sky City will also have to introduce player identification requirements when amounts over $500 are being put onto or cashed from ticket-in, ticket-out machines in non-restricted areas, as well as they are doubling the number of host responsibility specialists to deliver 24-hour, 7 days a week coverage. Arguably, Mr Speaker, Sky City will be better equipped to deal with problem gamblers because of this bill than without it, because they will put into place industry best practice. You know, Mr Speaker, I'm not a gambler, but this place is full of gamblers. Right now, there are bets going on in this House on who's going to be the winning horse wearing the red tunic, or the games of Russian roulette being played in the Labor caucus. But, Mr Speaker, I want to say that this bill is going to be good for New Zealand, and at the same time we are going to minimise the impacts and the harm of gambling upon people.
Just before I call the next member, just to advise the House that this is a split Labor call, and I will ring the bell with a minute remaining. I call the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, before I make the substantive comments of a speech, I want to